Hello, Good Tree. This is Paul, and I have some answers for some of the questions you might have regarding the creation according to the Bible. Today we're going to cover chapter 23, and the question of the day is, hasn't evolution been proven true? So evolutionists often say that evolution simply means change, that the world and the universe changed to how it is now because of billions of years of natural selection and mutations. The major thing about evolution is that there is no room for a supernatural God, because the world can create new things and change on its own. This position implies that we can live however we want, because there is no God to whom we have to give an account. So does the Bible teach evolution? The Bible does not teach evolution because the Bible teaches that God created everything in 6 literal days. There are those who argue that the story in Genesis is a simplified version of creation. Some also argue that God created some things, but also made other things evolve by themselves. This is a hard concept to accept because one of the things that drive evolution is death. But the Bible teaches us that there was no death in the beginning because God created the world to be perfect. Now let us look at 3 major forms of evolution that people believe in. The first evolution is the stellar evolution, also called the Big Bang. The difference between the Bible and the Big Bang is that the Bible teaches us that God created something out of nothing, while the Big Bang teaches that the universe suddenly existed and expanded to billions of galaxies and stars. People who believe in Big Bang argue that under certain circumstances, a Big Bang can definitely happen in a vacuum. The problem here is that a vacuum is not nothing, it is something. The second evolution is chemical evolution. So it is commonly believed among people that laboratory experiments have proven conclusively that living organisms evolved from non-living organisms. The famous experience of Stanley Miller is often quoted for this. However, there are several problems with this experiment, but the main problem with this experiment is that all this experiment is actually proving the idea that intelligence is required for life to happen, because an intelligent scientist carefully conducted the experiment to get the results. The experiment did not really prove that life somehow started by chance from non-living chemicals, but actually it proved that an intelligent designer is required for life to happen. Scientists argue that comparative anatomy can prove that different kinds of animals have a common ancestor. They argue that the similarity in bone structures is a proof that various animals descended from a common ancestor. Creationists also use comparative anatomy to make their point. Creationists argue that there is another logical reason for the similarity in bone structures, and it's that an intelligent designer used a common blueprint when he was creating. There are also some missing links with the evolutionary perspective. If creatures really did evolve over billions of years, why is there no fossil records of the evolutionary process? There's no fossil record of one kind of life form evolving into another kind. So Charles Darwin also noticed this, and he said it was one of the most obvious objections against his theory. Charles Darwin and other evolutionists also argue that what we see today in the world is a cause of evolution, and that one kind of plant or animal slowly changed into another different kind of species. However, there are no observations that such things happened. Instead, all we see and Darwin saw was creatures reproducing after their own kind. So to conclude, we have seen that the Bible does not teach evolution, and that the evidence for Big Bang and evolution is shaky. Therefore, it is more reasonable to interpret the similarity between living organisms to be a common design from an intelligent God, rather than a common ancestry.